So this is a walkthrough of the fleet management system designed for Kindertons. This is a demonstration system, so it's not fully built out, but I'm here to show you some of the processes and some of the functionality that we have already covered as part of this demo. So as we can see, this is a dashboard centered around the vehicle. The dashboards are all interactive, so we can build and design them however you would like. You can also click into any of the data sets and it will segment the data according to what you selected. So here I've chosen depot and ABI group, and it will show the particular data for that. We can see on the left-hand side, we have our menu. So we have a home button, we have recent records that we've clicked through, and we can also pin records here. So if there's a certain screen that you go back to day in, day out, or if there's a certain case you are working on or a certain vehicle, you can pin it here and then it's very easy to navigate to. So if we start at a vehicle entity, so if I pick this vehicle here, because I know it's got quite a lot of data in, this vehicle record has a business process flow along the top, and we'd be recommending building this out for a vehicle and other entities. We can see this will provide you with data steps that appear in stages. What this does is it guides the user through collecting the relevant information at the relevant time. We can set these fields to be required, recommended, or just available to fill in. And anytime when you see a piece of information that is blue, that means it's a hyperlinked piece of information, so relates to another entity within the system. We can design the steps and stages exactly to fit in with processes, and we can also make these process bars dynamic. So if there's a differing process, for instance, for Plantech as there is for Sovereign, we can call that out. So dependent on the division of the vehicle, it can change the process flow along the top. We can also have process flows independent from divisions, and you can have them so a security profile, i.e. a manager, can see different information than a team user. So we will be working with you to design these process bars and the information captured on the record. We've gathered some information here based on requirements that we have. We got last hire date, which we can use from the hire record, and we can roll up these dates so they're always correct and can't be overtyped. We can also add notes, emails, phone calls, etc. about this vehicle. If we click through, we can see our journeys. So we can see active journeys here, and we can see past journeys below. All of these columns can be custom designed, so any data field that sits on an entity can be used in any of these views. So we'll be working with you again to custom build these. We can click through and see any hires the vehicle has been on, any contracts. So again, we've got active contracts and prehistoric contracts. And we can also do the same for maintenance. What we can see is we've built out a number of entities down the side, but I'm now going to talk you through the depot audits, which is an app. So a depot audit will take place on a mobile app of a user. So as you can see on the screen, this is how the app would look. This is obviously a first pass at the app, so we can add more detail in, so we can segment not only by depot, but we can segment by particular views. So you could just pick idle vehicles, for instance, and you can see it'll display the registration plates of the vehicles that are supposed to be at that depot. The vehicle status is present and the depot location is shown there as well. Again, we can customize what is shown here. We can also see a check date. So the check date simply will log as soon as a user accesses the system and takes a photo of that number plate. It's hard to demo on a video call, but what I'll do is I'll use my phone to take a picture using the app of this number plate here. So all I'm clicking is new image and take photo on my phone, take a photo of the image. What that does is loads it into the system and asks me to select the registration plate and click check the list. So what that should do is on the third line down in a second, you'll see that a check date now appears. Click this back to the correct depot and you can see that's the vehicle that I've just checked at 3:29. And again, this can be pinned to the home page of your phone so you can access it whenever. What we'd be looking to do is build this out so that if you choose to replace MMW, we can do all the functionality, we can make it branded and a really good user experience. If I go back into Dynamics itself, we can see that we have a number of different processes and a number of different entities. If we go back to the hire, what we can see in the hire is that we have business process flow along the top. We know that it's required, and we can see a depot and an ABI group. We can do this using a subgrid, or we can do it using a data field. What I'll do now is I'll click the Find Vehicle button, and it'll find the matched vehicles to the specific requirements entered on the left. Obviously, we appreciate that the requirements are more complex than this, but what we can do is we'll work with you to build out the true requirements, and also we can show things like the ABI group up if there isn't an ABI group vehicle available that fits this exact specification. And again, we can add anything to the timeline. We can also add added extras. An added extra in this instance for a hire would be, for example, a car seat. So we can add a new part transaction. We can say for on hire, we can look for a piece of stock, and it'll show the details of that stock. We put in the transaction quantity and click save, and that will then show against the hire. We can build functionality so that when we off hire a vehicle, it will also off hire the parts that are associated, and we can also add permanent parts to an actual vehicle itself as opposed to just the hire. We've got the work area, and we've also got the admin area. The admin area is where we'd see you looking after your lookup lists. Again, this would probably be privilege restricted and only have set users being able to do this in order to ensure you have data integrity. That is it for the demo, so I'm going to stop recording here. Thank you for watching and hope this was useful.